Hello everyone, my name is Wungu. I'm from class 1C and I want to tell you about presentation about my final test in literature lessons. And the first one is about poetry. I will read aloud the poem titled Hope, written by Emily Dickinson. After that, I will tell about short biography about Emily Dickinson and analyze about the poem. Hope. Hope is a soluble gluten. He feeds upon the fear, and yet it's inspected closely. What assistant is there? He is the helicon table that never sit but one, and whatsoever is consumed, the same amounts remain. Emily Elizabeth Dickinson, born in December 10, 1830 until May 5, 1886, was an American poet, little known during her life. She was since been regarded as one of the most important figure in America poetry. Dickinson was born in Amherst, Massachusetts, into a prominent family with a strong ties to its community. Number 3. The poem talk about hope that never die. This poem doesn't have a item like that, like another poem in that era, and there's a metaphor used in this poem. For example, he is the Halcyon table. This stanza tells us that hope is a man, is human, but in real it is not a man or human. It's a thing that even we can touch it. The second subject is about prose. I will read. I was read the novel named Oliver Twist, written by Charles Dickens, and I will tell you about the short biography of Charles Dickens. Second is I will tell you the summary of the Oliver Twist novel, and then I will explain the character in the novel of Oliver Twist. Short biography of Charles Dickinson. Charles Dickinson, or Charles John Hugham Dickinson, born in Landport, um, uh, on February 7, 1812. Charles was the second children of 8 children from John Dickens, and was the English writer and social critic. He has created some of the world's best known fictional, and he is regarded by many as greatest novelist of the Victorian era. His work enjoyed an unprecedented popularity during his lifetime, and by 20th century, critics and scholars had was it recognized him as a literary genius. His novel and short story are widely read today. Second is, I will tell you summary of the Oliver Twist novel. Okay, so the story is about um, a urban boy named Oliver Twist in a what is it a workhouse, and live from a workhouse to another, like vacation to survive. He was often get abused and only had once a day to eat. He then fled to London when he met Jack Dawkins, or the Artful Torture, and the gang of pickpocket. Under the influence of gang, Oliver met Mr. Brownlow during the robbery case where he was accused of theft. It was a fateful encourage, as Mr. Brownlow turned out to know Oliver's parents and was entrusted a will for him and his half brother, monks, who wished for Oliver's demise and tried all he could to turn Oliver into a criminal. He paying Fagin to get Oliver caught in his criminal way, but all his attempts turned to naught, as Oliver turned out to be a good boy who showed kindness and what is it compassion, as all good boys should be. Um, there will be state that Oliver's fathers would only give out his inheritance if it's the children in justly and kind and criminal without no criminal acts or record. Oliver's got his share of his father inheritance and found his auntie from his maternal side, Rose, and live with them. Now I want to tell you about the character and characteristic in Oliver Twist's novel. First, of course, Oliver Twist itself is a young, innocent urban kid that kind, that naive, and easy to manipulate. And then there is Sir John, a man who gives hope to his patient, patient, even though they're under dying situation. And then is Nurse Sally, is a woman who cares about children, and he show great she show great when Oliver's mother give Oliver a moment to her and keep it, but a thirsty worth person. And then it's Oliver's mother, Agnes. Is love her family and refuse to be a burden for them because she's ashamed shame being pregnant before marriage, as it's like gossip and everything. And then Mrs. Man, a greedy woman who only care for money and take care of children because she gets pound from it and cook the money for her own rich. And then Mr. Bubble, she's an unofficial undertaker of our house. He does not care for the children under his care and only cares about the benefits, just like Mrs. Man. And then Noah. Noah is Mr. Sowerberry Appens, a bully, and Mr. Oliver during his apprenticeship at Mr. Sowerberry's loving make him like being a fucking gay. And then Mr. Sowerberry itself is another undertaker to Oliver. His kind to Oliver makes a brilliant arrangement for a living for Oliver's too. And then there is Charlotte, a maid working in the Mr. and Mrs. Sowerberry home, also mean towards Oliver and he's romantically involved with Noah. Um, and then there is Mrs. Sowerberry. Mrs. Sowerberry is evil towards Oliver's and even she ever abused to Oliver. And there's the Arthur Dodger. He is a young man, I think. His surname is Jake Dawkins, and I think he's pretty kind, pretty good, but it's kind of a pickpocket gang. Next is Fagin. Fagin is a criminal, I think, a wanted criminal. He he is the one who paying by bonds to make Oliver's criminal, but yeah, it's fail. So I think Fagin is bad person. And next is Monk itself. He is Oliver's half brother, a cunning, vicious young man who is sickly. He hates Oliver very much because he feels he was not born out of love from his parents, unlike Oliver. Like he is not allowed to live with love in the family. And there is Mr. Brownlow, a dear friend with Miss Lifford, who is Oliver's father, entrusted by him to find his lover, Agnes, to be taken care of. I think Mr. Brownlow is very kind, yeah, helpful person. And there is Lee. His Agnes' biological sister. She is Oliver's auntie, and she's kind. He's compositionable young lady and so forgiving towards Oliver. You know, she's forgivenessful, I think, like that. And then there is Mrs. May Lee. Adopted parents are Rose, and she's kind, but maybe she's well young old lady, old woman, but she's kind. And then Harry Maylie. Harry is a young man with great career prospect. He has left Rose and would give up, give it the world for her. Miss Maylis, he is Mrs. Maylis' only son, only. And there is Nancy, a young woman under Virgin gangs. He's, I think, not not kind. She is becomes a prostitute and romantically involved with Bill Six. Drama. I will tell you the summary of the drama first, and then I will answer the questions. Okay, so the summary of the drama is, the drama title is Soy Wrong Number, is on YouTube, and the drama is about a woman named Mrs. Stephenson who tried to call her husband, but she connected to the, what is it? She heard two men, I think, trying to not trying. It's they, what is it? Talk about the scenario for a murder. They want to do some murder, and the murder is, even they say the address, where the address is kindly same, kind of same, the same address with Mrs. Stephenson, and she panicked when the phone is cut off, when the dial is cut off, and she trying to what is it? Call the police, but police is kind of, is this woman a crazy woman like that? Police are not take it serious, not think that the Mrs. Stephenson style is serious, and then she connected to, what is it, head of operator like that maybe, and she tell Mrs. Stevenson that they cannot, what is it, they cannot track the dial, the telephone, where from where and who, because the dial has been cut off and cannot to be tracked. Actually, Mrs. Stephenson connected to the head of operator first, and then she called the police, but police not take it serious, and then she's getting nervous, she's trying to call her husband, but still cannot connect it until she get telegram from her husband, Mr. Stephenson, that Mr. Stephenson say that he is going to Boston for business trip, and then she getting more frustrated, more depressed, like just a sick woman alone in house, and she heard a murder scenario that she more getting frustrated. She scared that if it's true, if it's real, she gonna be murdered that night. And then she called hospital for checkup, medical checkup maybe. But I don't know. Uh the nurse are like too too long to take it. Like what what does this woman wants? Like doesn't make sense. Like not a professional nurse, and Mrs. Stephenson also so frustrated. So I think the nurse doesn't understand what Mrs. Stephenson want to be, and Mrs. Stephenson also can can speak in clear and cold, not cold, I mean just too fast and speak, so maybe the nurse doesn't understand. And then in 11 past 15, she get murdered when she calling the police department, and the killer say that so it's a wrong number at the end. Now I want to tell you about the answer of the following questions. The first question is where does Mr. Stephenson suddenly go away to on a business trip? The answer is Boston. And what does Mrs. Stephenson overhear on the phone when trying to contact her husband? It's about a murder. There are two men. One is a killer and one is like intermediate between client and killer. They're discussing about scenario to kill a woman who happenedly have same address with Mrs. Stephenson house. And uh, number two is in what city does the play take place? The answer is New York City. 4. What's the primary motivation for Mrs. Stephenson's killer? To be honest, I don't get a clear answer for this question. But I think it's like the client want to uh, reduce suffer from Mrs. Stephenson, because she is sick, she is alone, and her husband like doesn't care anymore with her. Even she has maid, but her maid are lazy, and I think the client is got psychopath mind, because psychopath want to kill for kindness like that, and the killer is just want to just want to working on what he has been paid. And I think They just want to get to rob the house, maybe. But why it should have to be killed? I don't know. And I have an imagination, maybe just imagination. It's maybe the client are Mr. Stephenson. Yeah, I think Mr. Stephenson are already bored with Mrs. Stephenson because she's sick and maybe already old, and maybe Mr. Stephenson got another woman to be married, like that. And that's all for me. Sorry for the noise, for the grammar mistakes, for everything, and sorry for the cut video because the video is not good enough. So sometimes I cut it to make it more perfect, but I know it's not perfect. And thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.